I'm Jamie Carragher, and you are listening to the Copite Podcast.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Copite Podcast. Man City 0, Liverpool 2. First win in the league at the Etihad for nearly 10 years. So I'd say that's severely long overdue. Obviously, we beat them in the Champions League and a couple of cup competitions there. But in the league, it's been, I think it was November 2015. We last beat them there in the league. So long overdue. And the Reds have gone and done it in a very humongous, massive, any other adjectives you can think along those lines. That's what it was, and Liverpool got over the line and beat them. But before we get stuck into it all, I am Mick Moran, of course, and I'm joined by Kristian Andersson, of course, once again. How you doing, lad?
Well, I can't complain, can I? Feeling wonderful today. Just went out of bed, just like, jumped up and with a smile on my face and just felt like I can take this week on straight away.
Did all your little bits of yoga and all that and got yourself a coffee?
Yeah, I'd rather had a pint, to be honest, but no, I didn't. But now I feel fine. And it's weird when you say it there as well, that we haven't won in the Premier League at their place since 2015. And I'm just looking, 10 years. And, my first-born daughter was born on August 2015, and she's now turning 10. And you think, like, we have, all her life, we haven't won there. It's just weird when you put it in the context like that and just in that perspective. So when you say it like that, it's like, okay, it was overdue. It was our time this time, especially this season when obviously they're not doing well and we really great. And it was a great performance overall. So we would get stuck into that. But yes, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic, especially obviously because of Arsenal lost Saturday as well.
Yeah, well, that kind of helped us a little bit. I'll say a lot. I mean, that's quite funny. The last time we beat City at the Etihad, you didn't have any kids. That's mad, isn't it? That you were just free flowing, bevies all over the gaff, all that good stuff. But I'm saying that like your life's now changed for the worse. Obviously, it's not that, but it kind of encapsulates just how mad that like little stat is that we haven't won the league there for so long. But we did win, and like I said, it was long overdue, and it was usually we come on these pods and say it was in a short performance, we battered them except X, Y, and Z, but it wasn't that at all. I think it was the lowest possession stats from us since stats began, and we usually use those stats in a good way, but I guess you can use it in a negative way that we didn't have that much of the ball. But who gives a fuck when you can put an 11-point gap between you and Arsenal? I'll take absolutely any. I'll take a Rafa Benitez, sit behind the ball and counter attack and get some boss goals. But yeah, we thought like we always do. Let's talk about the lineup a little bit then, because I think you can kind of predict what Liverpool are going to do these days just because of obviously injuries to Bradley and stuff like that. It's a bit easier to predict what we're going to do, but Liverpool went with Alisson, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Robbo, McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and then we had Jones. Jones and Szoboszlai is like 10s, if you like, and then we had Diaz and Salah on the wings. I quite enjoyed it. I think we've seen that a few times this season where, like, I think Jones referenced it after the game, saying like him and Szoboszlai were like 9.5s, 9.5s. It was a bit like, but then I was quite interested in what Jones said. He was like, Slot gave them like license and freedom to kind of, if there's a gap, plug the gap, like just fill in the holes. Like if Diaz is going in central, you go over left. I think we were seeing them like kind of interchanging and filling those gaps, because you looked at the bench, we had a stacked bench like with strikers on there, but Jota had a few misses in recent games, and Núñez of course had a few as well. So it was probably for the best in a game like this to put your fellas on there who are going to work their ass off and can get the likes of Salah and Diaz into those areas by doing their dirty work and all that stuff. But yeah, I think that was, I mean, I was going to say it's as strong as we can be, but we had Gakpo back on the bench, which of course he came on towards the end of the game as well, which is massive. But I was pretty happy with that lineup, considering we had an idea, and obviously there's a plan to sit back against City and try and counter them on the break. But decent lineup, and anytime you've got Mo Salah in your side, you know you've got a massive chance of winning the game, and you proved that again.
Yeah, it's just like always when we talk about Mo Salah, there's nothing left to say in terms of positivity about him, because he's one of the best players that has ever been in the Premier League, one of the best players that ever played for Liverpool. The thing is, you can always count titles and how much other players might have won or not might have won and stuff, because we talk always about obviously Kenny Dalglish, Steven Gerrard and others being the best. But if he goes on and win the Premier League with Liverpool this season, maybe even a cup when we play Newcastle again in the cup final, we'll see, and we see how it goes in the Champions League. We can't just say that we're going to go and win it all, but the thing is, the numbers he puts down ever since he came to Liverpool, and the trophies that he helped us win against the competition that has been City and others on the way as well. It's such a strong league, and to put down these numbers every season, all the time, and just keep on going. He will be, when whether he leaves after this season or if that's in 2-3 years' time, we'll see. But he will go down as one of Liverpool's best players ever. And the way that he played against City yesterday is just again, he seems to. I wouldn't say that just happened overnight, but in a short period of time, it feels like he just turned into more of a playmaker from nowhere. He's still great with the ball, going against his defender, making it hard for them and everything. But it just feels like this season he turned into more of a creator as well, like someone who's, with his assists, obviously, but the way he plays is more of a playmaker out wide, and he still score the goals. So, when you look at the way we start the game, it's City away, but with Salah and the way you could tell that we collectively started, it could be a good day. And I was obviously sitting there watching the game thinking, Arsenal lost Saturday. If we can get a draw here, that's great, because obviously we know City's not that good. They're not in the best form. They have the likes of Haaland out and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But you're thinking, we've still got a very great chance here. So just go for it. And maybe, like we said, it's been 10 years. Maybe it's time. And that's this season.
Yeah, well, I said on the Pod and a Pint show with Josh Sexton from Anfield Rap, I said there's 3 games in a season, away games, that are must not losers, and it's Man City, Everton and Man United. So it was one where we're going into it again, same mentality, just don't lose, especially with the context of what we're going for and the context of the Arsenal result and the opportunity to put more daylight between us and them. Like you said, a draw would have been still a decent result. A win obviously is loads better for what we're trying to achieve, but a draw wouldn't have been the worst result. I think that might have been met with I think any slight negative was met by derision and the usual shite on social media, but it wouldn't have been a bad point in the grand scheme of things. But going there and winning in the way that we did was just incredible. And we're talking about Salah, we might as well talk about the first goal then, because 14 minutes in, we get the goal, and set piece.
Fantastic move. What a move.
And it's good because over the last couple of weeks, or for as long as I can remember anyway, this season, like set pieces and the ability to score off them, we haven't been scoring enough. We haven't, nowhere near. Like we're getting Van Dijk and Kanate in the box every single time for maybe 6-7 corners a game, and generally not scoring from them. So the fact that we've came up with this little idea to get Robbo to block on the near post, get Szoboszlai to make a little run in behind, little ball in for Salah, and then Salah obviously a bit of a deflection on the shot. So not a perfect shot, but the fact that it goes in, and that kind of it was a massive moment in the game, because we always mention early goals, and an early goal first 15 minutes of a game, you can just set your stall out, especially because the way Liverpool clearly going to play. We're going to sit behind, sit as a low block and counter-attacks, get a goal in that manner early doors. And of course it was going to be Mo Salah who gets on the end of it. It was just a lovely wet goal, and it's like, let's start doing more of them, because I think Slot said after the game as well, like we'll try and look into more opportunities like that. But if you can get a little advantage like that, then why not? And in a game like this where the small details are massive, if you can get a little advantage in doing and making a set piece like that, and just carrying it out to the letter like that and putting it in the back of the net like that, you can't complain. And yeah, just another boss start for the Reds, and that was kind of the foundation you can build the rest of the performance on.
Yeah, and what I like with that kind of corner is that there's something they obviously worked on in training, and it pays off. It's just one of them where you finally see some sort of, instead of just putting the ball into the box and hope for the big guys to go up and header it, which we should be able to do more because we've got Van Dijk, Konate, and we've seen them score in the past. But like you said, we haven't been that good when it comes to set piece and especially corners. Then, but to see this kind of way of trying something different, and that City is not prepared for. I love it when it works, and obviously, he get a little bit of a deflection on the ball that makes it goes into the net, because otherwise I think the goalie might have saved it because it goes on the floor. But you need that little bit of luck, and it's Mo Salah. He's in form. It's players who are constantly good and performing on high levels. They also have the luck with them when it comes to this kind of stuff. Sometimes it's a post out or whatever, but in these kind of situations, when you're just having the rhythm and the flow, it goes into the goal, and we 1-0 up in a game where we're just thinking, like you mentioned as well, that get the goal so early to just find our structure in another way. We know that we don't have any stress now to attack because we 1-0 up, and they will be able to go forward more because they need to attack. But we can then, I wouldn't say just wait, but be more patient in the way we play and find our way to try to score a second goal. So, in that sense, it was perfect that we got the goal in that time, and to build from that, and to see Salah still creating numbers, just unbelievable. I can't wait to see where he actually lands when this season is over. Whatever happens, in the future, and this season as well, in terms of glory, I would say, I can't wait to see where he actually ends up in terms of numbers. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is, and we mentioned his goal there, and he then goes on to get an assist. Like it seems like every game, it's Salah. It's 2-0 Liverpool, Salah goal and assist, or whatever the goal scorer is, or whatever the goal line is. Salah, more often than not, he's got a goal and an assist, and it seems to be near enough every game. I think that's down to how incredible he is. And we always say, like, get an early goal, but then follow it up with another one, and it's not long after that's obviously gets the second, and then you can then not breathe like a sigh of relief, but you can, like, a 2-goal lead. Obviously, it's still difficult because if it's one of them, like we saw it in the Wolves game, if you give them impetus and they get a goal, I think Acuna scored on like the 60th minute, didn't he? And then that last half hour was horrible. Even though we were at home, it was a horrible half, and we had to kind of see it through. So you didn't want that to kind of reoccur and for that to happen again. So. But in the first instance, Szoboszlai getting in those areas, and I'd still like to see him shoot more, because there was a couple of instances in the game where he's on the edge of the box and lovely first touch, and you want him to just fucking welly it as hard as you can, just put your foot through it, because we know you can do it, even if you get a corner off it or there's a deflection, keeper saves it, whatever. Like, but just start having a few more shots in the round area, because we know we can do it. And for this goal anyway, a nice little bit of movement. Salah doing what Salah does, just taking up like 3 people, like just making them all panic in those areas where they know he can't be touched, because they're like scared of giving away a free kick, because then we can get Trent to step up and whip a free kick in if we need to. So they can't really touch him. But the play from Salah and the ball into Szoboszlai, and then little touch inside, left foot through the legs of one of their defenders, and Ederson's got no chance. And the Salah. Again, the play by Salah makes it, but I'm made up for Szoboszlai to start getting a few more like goal contributions as well, because we've seen this season, and Slot's referenced it near enough every game, his work rate is just off the scale. I saw you put up a tweet like saying the best goal scorer in the world and the biggest lungs in the world, and I quite like that. He literally, I've never seen anyone with that work rate and that ability, just to 92nd minute still running full speed, like it's the first minute. And I just wanted to reference a few Mo Salah stats, because it wouldn't be a Copper podcast show without a Mo Salah stat. And getting 40 plus goals in 2 seasons, he's the first person in Premier League history to be involved in 40 plus goals in 2 different seasons. So obviously in his first season he got 42 goal contributions, which 32 goals and 10 assists. He's now on 41 this season with 25 goals and 16 assists. So he's only one off his debut season, and his debut season was fucking incredible, weren't it?
Yeah.
And then if you look at the list of the other players, like top of the list in terms of most goals and assists is Alan Shearer on 47, alongside Andy Cole, and then you've got Henry on 44. You've got Haaland on 44. You've got Luis Suarez in 13-14 on 43. So he only needs 6 more goal contributions in 11 games to match Shearer and Cole from that era, which is just ridiculous. I mean, he might even surpass that if he gets 7, which I think could just be testament and would be lovely just for him to be top of that pile as well as another record. But you run out, like you said before, you run out of words to describe him, but I just love every week there's just a new stat, there's a new record, there's a new graphic for us to look at, for us to like retweet and post and go, fucking hell, look how good this fella is. But yeah. He's incredible, isn't he?
Yeah, I only see Salah tweets all the time.
Only Salah, yeah.
That's what I see all the time. It's like, it's just like only Salah all the time. And, that's the thing. I'm just, like I said, I'm just waiting to see what numbers he lands on, this season. It's incredible, whatever it will be. But, I also want to give credit to Szoboszlai, like you said, because the goal is really good. It's just one of them where he's in the right positions that we want him to score more goals, and he's doing that there. And it's not just a blast; it's a proper, just a smart, clever finish. A little bit of luck as well, but he goes in 2-0. But like you said, the way that he runs all game just to put pressure on them, to cover space. And I would say, even give credit to Curtis Jones doing the same. But, Szoboszlai, with his way of working so hard all the time, like I said, my tweet was, to the left, the best footballer in the world, and to the right, the footballer with the biggest lungs in the world or whatever. And he's an alright football player too, and something like that. But it's just to have a player like that, being a creative player and a good passer of the ball and a good finisher and everything that you like in your number 8, but to also have that kind of powerhouse in the same player who can run and put pressure through 90 minutes plus, and never seems, I know that he lay down on the pitch afterwards just knackered, but you don't see it during the game. You don't see it and think like, oh, Szoboszlai is goosed, he's done. He's just keep on going, and I wonder where he get them pair of lungs from, to be honest, because that's just incredible. And we need that as well, because I've said before that the games where he's been on the bench or out for some reason, there's something missing in the way that we play, because he helps so much to put that pressure and cover the space in those areas where it's so crucial to win the second ball, or to just make sure that they can't find spaces in between our midfield and the defensive line, because that's what he do by gapping by closing down those gaps. So I just think, the way that he's obviously had his last season coming into Liverpool as a new player, and then having another season now and everything goes well and he's scoring more goals, you can tell that he develops, and he's only 24. So I'm just thinking, if he just keeps on getting better and getting his numbers up and keeps on playing like this, hopefully, touch wood, he stays fit and doesn't end up injured because of all the game time. But it's just like one of them kind of midfielders where you'll be like, ooh, luxury player that you will always love because of the way that he works his fucking arse off all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's true, because I think he's always been the workhorse, hasn't he? And it's the never say die attitude, but it's the putting the final piece of the jigsaw for him really was getting more goal contributions, and we know we can do it for Hungary because he's the main fella. He has to score the goals, so the pressure's on him to whip in a free kick from 30 yards or like score a decent goal or whatever it may be. He needs to score the goals for Hungary, whereas in this side it's not. The pressure's more, I guess, on Mo Salah and on the strikers and stuff, but him to have like a little like quests of his own and records of his own to beat, that's obviously something good for us in the future, where he can maybe start getting better at or increasing his numbers, I should say, in terms of goals and assists, which he has started to do, and it's boss to see. But it was funny after the game as well, he got asked about like the Liverpool fans singing and now you're going to believe us, like we're going to win the league and all that, and he said, I didn't hear it, I was so tired. And I quite enjoyed that, and it's true what you said, because you don't see it on the pitch. I think that's one of the biggest things as well, like for him, like he doesn't, like we've seen it with Maka over the last couple of weeks, I guess, where you can go, fucking hell, Maka looks absolutely like Stefan Hahn show, where he looks like he's left the oven on at home. He's just his red face, and he's like, fucking hell, looks absolutely fucked. But Szoboszlai never shows it. He might be absolutely dead, but he does never show it, and I'm masking that and still putting the energy and the work rate in. Like, fair play to him. He's fucking incredible. He really is. But yeah, getting over the line in that one, especially in the first half with a 2-0 lead. I don't know how you felt going into the second half, because during it I was like, I didn't feel that stressed, and I don't know why that is. I just weirdly, it felt, I don't know if it was because the first half they had, like, obviously Doku was put up record numbers for beating a fullback in Trent. I think it was 11 times in the whole game. But and he's a decent player, but I knew he was going to beat Trent every time, and obviously towards the end of the first half, and especially in the second half, Salah was getting pulled back more, Konate was coming over more, Gravenberch was going over more. Like, we were surrounding him out a little bit better than we were in maybe the first half an hour of the first half, where Trent was just getting put on toast every time, and he was getting past, but he wasn't doing anything with it. But we kind of made sure that he was not going to do anything with it, because we had more players around him, so we fixed that in that regard anyway. But in the second half, I just didn't feel. I didn't feel too stressed. Obviously, we knew they were going to have most of the ball, but the way that we were set up, the way that we'd took the lead in the game, took charge of the game, 1-0 up, 2-0 up, going into the second half, I should say. You kind of, you'd expected it to be, same as in the second half.
Yeah, the thing is, I was a little bit worried during the first half, because I know we texted, and we could see Doku just getting past Trent. I think still personally too easily. I think Trent should be more clever and understand that Doku is a very pacey player, and he likes to go on the outside and try to get past him and go in. He went into the box a few times. He had some balls into the box as well, but obviously our defensive line were, there and ready for it. But, it could take a touch. It could be a handball. It could be a potential penalty. It could, so many things can actually happen if you keep on risking it all the time. I know that you can never put someone out of a game totally, but in my opinion, I think Trent is so experienced now that he should understand, all right, I need to push him on the inside, not let him go outside, because there I will help from Gravenberch. I will have Konate standing, obviously, backing me in that space as well. We had Salah coming down, in the second half at least, obviously with the lead, that comes down and do the defensive work. I know that's a little bit easier then, but I would just make him go on the inside, because there will be it will be so crowded in those areas, he won't be able to go through. And we saw that in the second half, that they didn't get through there, because even if they try, we always had 3-4 players around in those areas. So I was a little worried in the first half, but obviously we took the lead 2-0. In the second half, I just felt if we keep them out from a goal the first 15 minutes, and because it's crucial for not letting them have a momentum and try to get something from the game, that's, in my opinion, what was crucial to do, and we managed to do it. And then after, like you said, after we were leading in the second half, everyone helped a little bit more defensively. It felt much more secure. So in the end, I think everyone did a great collective defensive work. But I think in the second half, in terms of going forward and how, if you meet players that are very quick and good with the ball like Doku is, I think Trent just need to kind of learn by the player profile and what can I do and not do in this. Where do I like to let him go? Because if you let Doku go on the outside all the time, you will be overpaced by him, because he's so quick. And if he develops his end product in terms of balls into the box, he can become a great player for City, obviously. But obviously against us it didn't happen, but it's just a learning process. I think that can happen, but in terms of how we stood and defended in the second half, I think we were great, because we've been conceding goals lately in almost, I wouldn't say every game, but in many games. And I've just felt that in this game, everything looked really solid and everyone was on their toes. We helped each other in those difficult areas. So all credit to the team for actually putting that kind of defensive performance out on the pitch, because it takes a lot to do that against City, because they are good with the ball and stuff, but they were never really dangerous, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like Guardiola got asked about it, and he said like Salah was coming back and was basically right back for most of the second half. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to suffer in the game against City, because you need to, keeping him out. And then as it gets towards 80th minute, you're like, right, come on, lads, big 10 minutes now. And then the closer we get to the end, you can kind of start celebrating a little bit. But I mean, I didn't celebrate properly till the final whistle went, to be honest, because I still felt like even just like you said, one little jammy deflection or like a corner that hits someone's hand or like just something random can happen and it can affect you. But yeah, we get over the line and we went 11 points clear, which is absolutely massive. Then you're looking at the final 11 Premier League games and 7 of the 11 at Anfield, which is a massive. That is huge. Like when I saw that after the game, that 7 of the final 11 games are going to be at home. I just thought, fucking hell, that is so key. And yeah, it's massive going into this running. And the first of those 11 is Wednesday night. So let's talk about Newcastle a little bit then. Back at Anfield, 8:15. I was just saying to you before we started, like Arsenal play Forest away at 7:30. So as we're kicking off, they'll be heading into half time and we'll kind of get a flavour of where they're up to. And then, yeah, Jordan, their game, like when it finishes, we'll still be playing. So we'll know in the crowd, like if it's what's going on in their game, whether it's whatever they've done. Hopefully it's a defeat or a draw. That'll be absolutely lovely. But we'll know what they've got up to in that game, and we know how difficult that's going to be for them because we know we've been to Forest as well, and it's very, very difficult the way they set up, and they're set up to play against big sides who want to keep the ball and want to do what we do. So it's going to be a massive game for them. So hopefully, obviously they got beat by Newcastle, didn't they? 4-3, I think, weren't they? Which is a bit of a mad game, but Forest at their ground is always a massive game, and hopefully they can get something out of that. But to be honest, I'll have one eye on that, of course. But if we can bring Newcastle to Anfield and kind of put on a performance like we know, and how big it is, to back up the City result as well, because the City result's absolutely key. But the Alissons, the Van Dijks, the Robbos, the Trents, all the lads that have won it will know that it's only worthwhile if we go and back it up with a good result against Newcastle. You can't beat City and then fucking draw against Newcastle at home, because it's like it just gives them momentum, not back to them in a full round of the way, but it gives them a little glimmer of hope, and we just want to ram it home now, like just get another win on the board, knowing that they go to Forest away. It's a massive game for them, massive game for us. We know Newcastle are dangerous. Your fellow countryman Isak's having an absolute fucking unbelievable season, and it's about keeping him quiet. If we can keep him quiet, then we've got a massive chance in this game to hopefully extend the lead. But yeah, how are you feeling about it? It's going to be. It's just, I love games every 3 days. I know we're going to come into a period soon where it's not quite that, and we're gonna miss it dearly. So I'm kind of just rolling with the punches and I'm really enjoying these like games every 3 days.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to have these, the games that's been now for a couple of weeks here now. I just, it's going to be, I'm not looking forward to a break, but I think it's good with a break for the players just to get some rest, because it's been a very tough schedule the last week, the last 10 days. And also, looking at Newcastle, like you said, they got quality players in Isak and Gordon, obviously, and they got a good midfield working hard. I think when you look at the game they played against Forest, and obviously being in a quite comfortable lead, but still, conceding goals, so it stands 4-3 instead of, I think it was 1-0 Forest first, and they turned it to 4-1, and you think like that's done, but then they concede another 2, and it could end up a draw if it comes to that. And obviously that's something that we need to look into when we play them. Like, well, they conceded 3 against Forest at home. So what can we do to hurt them in the same way? Because obviously, player to player and all over the field, we have more quality than Forest without taking anything away from Forest. But you know what I mean? Like, I think if we look at what we can do in the same manner to hurt them in terms of speed and quality and creativity, they are up, we are up for it to actually get 3 points, because I know that sometimes Liverpool Newcastle games turns into fucking amazing games, and sometimes they don't, but you never really know. Usually. Yeah, you never really know what you're going to get. But I'm thinking like we got a great chance to score goals against them. I know they got quality as well. So like you said, it's about having Isak and Gordon, I would say, out of the game, keep them out of the game with Van Dijk, Konate, and all the midfield players obviously helping out. But I'm thinking as well at the same time, we always have to do our job, and that's the main focus. But I think Arsenal will struggle to go to Forest away in terms of their injury state. status and that they don't create much. They didn't do that against West Ham. They were at home. I know they're in a very struggling position in terms of all the injuries and that, but also because of Nottingham Forest, obviously playing at home, they're really good at home. They got the pace of players on the wings, and they also are trying to catch our Champions League spots. They have something to play for. So if they could do some business for us, it doesn't mean that I will sit back and be relaxed about us playing Newcastle, but I can just think of the scenario where Nottingham Forest goes and win 1-2-0 against Arsenal, and we can just fucking smash Newcastle and get it 4 points clear. 14 points clear. That would be a scenario where I think if that happens, I think that's too much for Arsenal in the long term in terms of how they would feel mentally about it, because that would be too big of a catch, to try to do. And I would never say, it's done until it's done, but that would be such a fucking great position to be in when coming into next game against Southampton at home. Then we got the Champions League, and then it's not a game until Everton at home in the start of April. So to go from loads of Premier League games to less Premier League games and be in that position to just being able to, for the team to relax a bit, the FA Cup weekend, to just rest as well and mentally prepare for what's coming next, obviously with Champions League as well. It's just the great position. So, I'm just looking forward to it, but I will miss not having many games to play. But I think, we got a really great opportunity against Newcastle at home. Now, I'm so happy it's not away, but it's home.
Yeah, I think that the break you're talking about will be good for the likes of a Gravenberch, maybe, who's not been... His standards were so high and he's still been performing really well, but he's not been maybe at the same level because he's having to play every single game because he's so integral to what we do. So it'll be good for, I guess, for those players to have a little break and then come back refreshed off it. But Newcastle on Wednesday is the main focus, and we need to... Like I said, Arsenal have got a massive one at a Forest away, but if we can just do the business and see what happens over there, obviously I'm sure their away fans will be keeping an eye on us as well, just to see what we get up to against Newcastle. So if we smash a few goals in early doors, that'll transfer over to them. Then their fans will get maybe a bit upset, and then that can translate onto the pitch. You never know what's going to happen. So we just need to make sure that we're doing our job, and that's the main focus.
Yeah.
But yeah, score predictions then. I know we've both done it in the group chat already. I went for it. I went for 2-0 against City. I just thought, you know what, I wasn't confident of a clean sheet, but we got it. And like you said, Isak and Gordon are the two main fellas, and you fancy them to score. But I've gone for 2-0 again. I just feel like just crack on with 2-0 wins. Another 2-0 win would be absolutely boss.
Yeah, and looking at the way that we defended against City, I think we've been a little bit shaky defensively last couple of games, especially with conceding that late goal against Everton, Aston Villa game. I don't think we haven't defended that well, but to see the way that we did against City and the structure and the everyone worked for each other, hopefully we can build on that to just say to each other, the lads will go together and say, let's keep on doing this kind of defensive work, because if we do that, it will be so hard for other teams to to score. Obviously it's a bit different to play away and home, because we will probably go more attacking at Anfield and try to score early instead of maybe going more of the counter-attack, which was the case against City. It's always different in how we exploit ourselves in terms of the areas behind us and everything. And obviously with Isak and Gordon being quite pacey and creative as well, we need to take that in consideration. But yeah, it would be great to keep on building on that defensive display that we had against City. But I just go with the same nowadays. I can't be bothered anymore. So I've said 3-1 because I think obviously they got a goal in them with Isak and Gordon first and foremost. But I think, with the way that we play in and the form that we're in and with the players that we have, and if we can keep on giving performances like against City, even if it's at home, but the collective work and to just keep on running at them with the likes of Diaz, Gakpo, Salah, Szoboszlai, and then obviously with the Gravenberch and Maka, it's just behind them, the creativity and the way that we handle games. I think we're definitely, it's always hard to say definitely going to win, but I think we're going to do the job, because if we do that together, it will happen. So I go with 3-1 because I think there's a little bit of a shaky moment where they can score because they got quality up there. But I think we do the business all over the game. Yeah,
like I said, the working for each other, it's the business end of the season, so you've got to be doing that. And games against City, you've definitely got to be doing it, but you've got to be doing it in every other game as well. We know how good Newcastle can be. Like, they're up around the Champions League spots for a reason. They've got players like Isak, who's just been incredible this season. He's been unbelievable. So we know that Van Dijk and Konate have got a task on their hands to not let him have a shot on goal, because he can score from absolutely anywhere with the shots that he's producing. But yeah, fingers crossed the Reds can get through it. And yeah, it's been an amazing season, and yeah, getting Gakpo back as well in the last game I think is key, because we came on for the last 10 minutes or so. So getting him back into his spot on that left hand side, we have missed him in the last couple of games. I think we've still been getting good results, but we have missed that ability to just do certain things, have shots on goal, those little floater balls to the back post, stuff like that, where he's got so much quality and he's been proving it all season. So having him back in and around the starting 11 is a big boost for us going into this period, where if we can get a little early goal and get Cody Gakpo and get his name back on the score sheet and get straight back into the flow of what he was, then all the better for us. Right, lad, we'll leave it there. Nice one for jumping on. That was the Man City reaction show, Newcastle preview show. Let's hope the Reds can do the absolute business at Anfield. I can't wait to get in there. It's going to be absolutely massive. But yeah, nice one, lad, for jumping on.
Yeah, no worries. And I have to give a shout out to fucking Endo as well. I think he's brilliant when he comes in and just ruins it for everyone. I'm just like, yes, that's the kind of type of player who also helps to win you titles, to be honest, in these kind of situations.
Yeah, it is.
So I just thought I was going to mention him before, and I forgot that now when we're going to end it, I just remembered I want to give a shout to Endo, because if you have players that just comes in, they don't play much, but they come in 10, 15 minutes and just know I'm going to ruin everything for these players. I'm just going to make sure they don't get anything out of this. And yeah, brilliant squad player to have. Just you'd have to give them credit as well.
Definitely. Yeah, shout out to LB as well on Twitter. I don't know if you just following LB, but he
absolute legend.
His picture on Twitter is just like Endo, like a picture of a Scouse fella, and then it's got Endo's face on it, like a trachea on, I think. And yeah, the stuff he puts out there, it's like it's poetic. It's poetic, like creative fucking quality.
Yeah, I actually wrote to him like a private message the other day and said, I can't wait for the day when he actually publish a book with all his tweets that you can just read on, page for page, because that will be just a laugh, like a humoristic book where you can just laugh just reading it, and obviously knowing who it was for and when, but you see them tweets just going, because I don't know, I think, because I sent that before we go, I just want to say, because he tweeted something that I sent to the group chat, and it said, not a better midfielder in the world football than Wataru Endo when he comes on with 20 minutes to go. As soon as that gum shield goes in, someone is about to get fucked up. What a wonderful human being. I just love the detail of putting that gum shield into that tweet. That does everything, and that's the humor of it. It's just lovely the way that he puts his tweets in. So if you don't follow him on Twitter, just go and do it, because there will always be a laugh. And there's so many people whether he replies to where they just go crazy the way that he replies to them, because people get annoyed and everything. So you can just sit back and laugh, just get some popcorn and read, and it will be fine.
Yeah, shout out LB, shout out Endo, absolute legends of the game. But I will leave it there. Nice one for jumping on, nice one everyone for watching or listening, and yeah, we'll be back very soon, hopefully celebrating a lovely Liverpool win over Newcastle and hopefully extending that gap. But yeah, nice one, and we'll see you all very soon. Ta-da.
I'm Jamie Carragher, and you are listening to the Copite Podcast.